So, Liverpool fans, great news. Jurgen Klopp is staying to 2026. Big shout out to his wife. Got to keep the wife happy, and she's the reason he's staying. So, thumbs up. But what does it mean for Jurgen Klopp in terms of what's coming in the future? Because I've got the feeling that Jurgen Klopp could create a dynasty at Liverpool. He could stay there for a long, long time, and by the time he eventually leaves, be seen as the greatest ever manager of a Premier League club. I'll say that again. The greatest ever manager of a Premier League club, which includes what you do in other competitions as well and how successful you are, brand of football, all of those things I think go into it. Where do you think he could end up, James?
Well, first of all, I've spoken with my wife and she's very happy with what I'm doing here at ESPN, and we're going to be sticking around to the end of the season. Just want to get that out there. Thanks, Klopp, for the advice. Yeah, shout out. Klopp, right. I think, look, there's huge speculation in this conversation, which is why it's great fun. Okay, so everyone just take a breath before we get into this properly. In terms of the potency of what Klopp's done in terms of changing Liverpool, changing their mindset, and achieving what he's achieved, the European finals, winning the League Cup this year, which I know is not the main thing, but winning those Premier League titles up against a Man City side that has been outrageous as well. And then, of course, you've got someone like Pep Guardiola in there as well. He's probably battling with him. Looks like he's going to extend his contract as well. Talks about that happening. And it looks like these two are going to be battling on for a long time. The big question mark is can he ever eclipse Sir Alex Ferguson? That's the question, isn't it? Let's be honest. And the question mark I would then have is that Jurgen Klopp, as good as the recruitment has been, and maybe you don't throw this at Jurgen Klopp, but ultimately the results are garnered from how good your team is. He hasn't had to evolve this squad just yet. You know, if you think of all those players that have been there, they've been in there for quite a long time. And what Sir Alex Ferguson had to do time and again, you had that first team with Cantona and Bruce and Pallister. Then you had to evolve it into the kids coming through and doing it again. You then moved forward and looked to do it again with Ronaldo and Tevez and Rooney. Looked to do it again with Van Persie. He was able to do that again and again and again. That would be my biggest question for Jurgen Klopp. But if he has the same success that he's had so far for as long as Sir Alex Ferguson, absolutely, he can eclipse him. Is that a crazy thing for me to say? Yeah.
No, not at all. It's interesting you remark on evolving the team, and I think they're in the transition now. I think it's really good that Jurgen Klopp has highlighted this, and their recruitment department has gone in early, getting Luis Diaz. That's a long-term thought process. You've got Diogo Jota in there, long-term thinking. Harvey Elliott, Fabio Carvalho of Fulham, who's coming into the squad. Great young players, forward thinking. Ibrahima Konate at the back. They are thinking about the future at Liverpool. He hasn't completed the cycle of changing his team. Of course, he hasn't. He's still got those big names in, the likes of Salah and Mane. They're still in the squad, of course, but they are already thinking about the next generation, if you like, at Liverpool. And if he can bring in a new team, continue to perform at this level, continue to win trophies, that is one of the biggest and hardest things that you can do as a coach of these big, big clubs. You know, a lot of coaches try it. Their next group of players just don't take to their methods in the same way. And suddenly you're out of a job because you set yourself a high bar and you're unable to achieve that again. So I think they've started really well in terms of that transition. But yes, when you look at the likes of Sir Alex Ferguson, I think there is a way to go. Even Arsene Wenger, to be perfectly honest with you, I still think there is a way to go there.
That's what I was going to say. Do you put him second then? You don't put him second at the moment?
I don't put him second at the moment. No, I don't put him second at the moment. I think this season could catapult him to second, because if he wins the quadruple, I think that would be the greatest achievement from a manager of a Premier League club, since it came in, the manager of an English club maybe of all time, to win everything domestically and the Champions League, of course, would be huge. And that could catapult him up the leaderboard, if you like. But actually, what Arsene Wenger did on a smaller budget, much smaller budget than their rivals, because I know Jurgen Klopp's on a smaller budget, to have a team that many Arsenal fans would say was incredibly poor, reached the Champions League year on year and year on year. For that length of time, I think you have to give him, ultimate credit. I also think where he picked up his Arsenal team and where he got them, similar to Klopp, I think you have to give him huge credit for. I think just what Jurgen Klopp lacks at the moment is, and again, he could go on, and he probably will go on to get huge numbers in terms of trophies if he stays at Liverpool. But he's only won one Premier League title at this point in time. Yes, he's won one Champions League, which puts him above Wenger, but it's Wenger's longevity and the brand of football that he had for so long, which for me just puts him there. Maybe I'm just old and I refuse to commit to change. But actually, I think if Jurgen Klopp can win some more trophies, can continue that style of football, can build on it for the next 5-10 years' time, there's absolutely no reason why he can't eclipse both Wenger and Ferguson.
So Klopp signed, but let's move on to this second leg at El Madrigal against Villarreal, who came with a plan, looked to stifle Liverpool, but offered absolutely nothing going forward, which is going to hurt you sooner or later. I don't think I've ever seen a more dominant semi-final of a Champions League game. In terms of turnovers, 22 turnovers, the most in any knockout stage games this season from Liverpool, the most ever in a Champions League game for Liverpool as well. Is there any way back, Hugh, for Villarreal in this? It being at home is obviously useful, but really, is this, just completely over now before we've even kicked the ball?
It's going to be incredibly tough. I don't think Liverpool will be in any way intimidated by going there. Of course, they've got a 2-goal lead already. They will feel we score first, the tie is completely done, if it isn't already. I think one of the big things for Villarreal was an inability to hold the ball up. That counter-attack and the lack of Gerard Moreno, I think, played a big part. A lot of their players were rested at the weekend, but we saw Jurgen Klopp do the same thing at the weekend. Didn't play his absolute full-strength team against Newcastle in the Premier League. The likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold left on the bench, for example. And I think that will give them the energy to go into this game. Their press was unbelievable in that first leg. Villarreal found it really tough to get out. If they go into the game with that sense of energy and dominance and purpose and intensity, I just can't see how Villarreal can live with them in this one. I almost see a comfortable Liverpool win once again.
Yeah, I agree. It was odd, wasn't it? Because they were sort of looking to play out from the back, which I understand. I think the reason for that, and we spoke about that on the preview last week, was someone like Pereiro, who is so pressure proof normally that he can take a couple of players, suck them in, and then allow a counter attack to begin by playing a great little pass. He wasn't able to do that at all, and that was hugely down to the press of the whole midfield. That game was won by the midfield, not only the fact that Henderson has that deflected goal, which offers him that little bit of luck, but he was absolutely imperious in this game and stopped Pereiro picking up the ball on that right hand side and just made it so difficult in terms of interceptions. Liverpool had 16, Villarreal had 7. This is how they're going to go and stink out the game to a point, or basically just stop any kind of ability for Villarreal to breathe. I don't think it matters what ground you're on. I think this Liverpool side is just so impressive. Fabinho was kept safe for this game as well and was fantastic in the game as well. I honestly, in no way, shape or form, can I see how Villarreal can get through this game and, first of all, not concede a goal, but second of all, score 2 to make it equal. I guess that's the only thing that you've got if you're a Villarreal fan, is that it was only 2 goals. It probably could have been more. I just don't see it happening. There's too much of a high press. It's a very clear philosophy with Liverpool. There's just no way for me. Hi guys, James Allcott here from ESPN's Football Forecast. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and you want to check out more, make sure you subscribe to ESPN UK.